be doing a review on the Essence Soft Touch Mousse Makeup Foundation. This comes in 3 different colours. There's 01 Matte Sand, 02 Matte Beige and 06 Sand Almond. Now I do mention that in the video, just thought I'd mention it again. They are the 3 shades that I know of that are available in Australia, at least in the store where I buy it, which is at Priceline. This retails for about $6.50. Now the average foundation I find in Australia is $15 and then going up. I know that Rimmel ones are like $17, $18, and then my Revlon Colour Stay Whipped foundation, this was $29, I would say, dollars. Off the top of my head, I could be wrong, but in like the middle 20 range. So this is really quite affordable, which I was a little bit hesitant to start with. It has a little bit of a smell. I did not notice that it had a smell until I actually went to film this video while I was actually sniffing it to see if there was a scent. There is a scent. It's not like a flower scent or anything like that. It personally, the best way I can describe it and put it down to is it smells like a foundation skincare scent. You know how they just have that basic, just signature kind of like, oh, this is for your face kind of scent. So that's good. It's not a problem for me. It might be a problem for you. I found that this hasn't broken me out, which is really good. It has good staying power. I find that it does break up a little, especially on my forehead the most, but I mean I can set that with powder and it is perfectly fine. I don't normally set it with powder to start off the day after I've applied my makeup, but I do during the day powder at least once, just so that it just keeps it looking nice the whole way through and I don't then look like a hot oily mess, which is good. This is a 0.56 ounce, or it's 16 grams. This is what the foundation looks like inside. Now the only problem that I have with this is so much so that once I finish, you know how like you get the foundation out and it starts to obviously go lower and you start to run out, because of the round edge, it gets, this is one that I've already used. What I find difficult is when I start to hit the pan, there's all of the foundation around the edges. Now you can get it out, but I mean it's harder than just simply going like that. What I actually have to do is, I either use my fingers or I use the back of a brush, go like that, scoop it onto the back of my hand, and then I apply it. But that's the only thing that I would say that I don't like, is that, it's not like a complete and utter waste, but it's just a little bit more, it's not as convenient, that's it. Using a moisturizer, just because if you do have dry skin, the makeup I find does tend to stick to that area a little bit more, and it can leave it not having the best result, and it can look a little bit blotchy. So I normally use 3 things when I'm applying my makeup, or when I'm applying this foundation. Number 1 is just my hands, just because I find that they can be the best tools, and the warmth really does help just blend it into your skin. I also have a brush that I like to use. Now this, don't have to use this specific brush. I think it isn't so much the brush, but it's more the type of brush it is. This is a stippling brush. Now this is a Real Techniques, it's just called the Real Techniques stippling brush. I like this because it really buffs it into the skin, so you're not left with any blotchiness or streaks. But what I do find is, with this foundation, and I think with a lot of other foundations, you really have to buff it in so you don't get those streak marks. So I have that, or I have the one that I normally use most of the time when applying this foundation, and that is a beauty sponge. Now the reason why I use the beauty sponge is because with this jar, It just goes in perfectly into the jar. I know some people might say it's not the most sanitary way, but I find that it just evenly applies it onto my sponge, so it's not like I'm getting a huge amount or not enough amount. And if I haven't got that much, I can just go back in, and I think it works great. This sponge, it obviously gets into all the corners and indents of my face, which I like. I'm just going to start off and start applying this until you get about that much. It's not really a lot, so I like that, and I start working in sections just from the middle and working my way out. So this may start to come off looking a little bit orange, and when I first purchased this, I did get very worried because this was the lightest shade that they had and it was orange on my skin. But I kept that in mind, and I just pushed on and continued doing the rest of my makeup, like my eyes, etc. And then I actually came back and it did match really well. So I like that this kind of, I don't know what it does. I think it just kind of goes with my skin, and it just kind of, I don't know, it sinks into your skin a little bit and it just blends nicely with it. I used a concealer while wearing this foundation as well, but I think that's just for obvious reasons, just for more coverage pretty much under my eyes. And then I apply my highlighter on the bridge of my nose and everything like that. But this does cover blemishes really well, so I don't find that I have to apply concealer on spot areas, because this foundation surprisingly does do a really good job at doing that itself. Now another thing is, I would really suggest, not so much, I mean it's not hard to blend, it just depends on really just you blending it. But one thing I would say is, which I have been a person that has done, the hairline. This can sometimes be a little bit difficult, at least I find, that because this is a mousse form, it's a little bit thicker as to a liquid, and I find that it can sometimes just build up a little bit around the hair. So I find that I really pay a good amount of attention to just really blend it out. Another thing that I was just about to forget to mention is I'm weird. My nose, it doesn't hold the foundation very well. I hope I'm not alone. I don't think I probably am, but I find it really hard to have foundation stay on my nose. It stays everywhere else on my face pretty well, but it just kind of breaks up on my nose. So I find that I might not powder the rest of my face, but I have to powder my nose just because I want to actually have it stay on my nose. But with this foundation, I find that I don't have to do that. So I just finished up the rest of my makeup. Hopefully you can see. I really think that this was bad timing, but I have applied my highlight, my blusher, and then some contour. It's all kind of light just because that's the way that I like it, but it hasn't looked cakey. That's what I'm trying to get at. Even though I have applied a lot of powder products, it still doesn't look cakey. I mean, it might look just like a little bit more full coverage in this area just because I have a few more products. But other than that, it hasn't made it look, you know, really flaky and thick. So that's what I'm really happy with.